Good afternoon. Welcome back to Oneida, live here on the Oneida Nation Reservation, Wisconsin. Today is Tuesday, August 19th, and I'm Bobby Webster. I'm the PR Director for the Oneida Nation. And today we have here our guests from Economic Support within the Oneida Nation. We've got Barbara Matoxen, who's the Economic Support Program Manager, and along with Barb, we have Dakota Decora and Simone Diamond, and they're the specialists for income maintenance. So they're going to tell us about this division, what they're doing, how their program interrelates with one another, and some of the wonderful things their team is doing. So Barb, go ahead and start us off.
Good afternoon, almost afternoon. Yes, it is. Oneida Economic Support is actually a state-funded program. We operate the programs that assist families, individuals with the Food Share program, which is the federal SNAP program. In Wisconsin, we call it Food Share. The healthcare program, which is Badger Care. And then we have some sub-programs that go under healthcare as well. Our native name for our agency is Sajat Dagenha, which means help yourself, which aligns with our department vision of helping people to become self-sufficient. So I'm going to turn it over to Dakota, and she will start our rest of our presentation.
Yes. Hi, I'm Dakota. So if you look at the first slide, this kind of gives a breakdown of what we do. And as we partnership with Wisconsin DHS, the Oneida Nation administers Badger Care Plus. It's a state health care program. It covers children under 19, pregnant people, parents and caretakers, adults under 65, who meet income guidelines, and benefits include doctor visits, prescriptions, hospital care, and even mental health services. One of the things we would like to note that when you apply, there is a question that asks if you would like to backdate. So keep in mind, if you're going to backdate, that means like anytime from 1 month to 3 months, you will have to provide verification. And we'll speak about verification processes later on. Then on the next slide, we talk about food share. We work with the Wisconsin SNAP program. That's where you get your Quest card. And this is for people of all ages who have limited income, live on small fixed incomes, are retired, or recently lost their employment, and especially those that are having disabilities that prevent them from working. Quest card, if you don't know about it, kind of works like a debit card, so you can use it at all grocery stores as well as the farmers market, even the Oneida's farmers market. We also have Medicaid, which is Title 19, medical assistance. That's a federal and state partnership. And this provides coverage for people age 65 and older, individuals with disabilities, certain low-income families and children. And this includes long-term care, prescriptions, and medical services. So if we continue on, we wanted to talk about the things that I think sometimes the community gets confused a little bit with, and that's the food distribution of commodities. The important distinction is that families can receive either food share or commodities. You cannot receive both. So this is helpful for those that are receiving less than ideal amount of food share. And so we usually kind of give you the option to either, we now understand it's not a lot, so if you live within the reservation boundaries and you're Oneida, we can direct you to the food distribution and sign up for commodities, because sometimes $23 may not be enough to feed yourself for the entire month. And we also want to let you know that having food share does not prevent you from receiving your elder box that comes every other Friday, or being able to receive some services at the Oneida Community Pantry. So if you have food share, you could still go to the pantry and you can receive your elder box. It's just that you cannot receive commodities and food share, okay? And then next slide is the elderly, blind, and disabled, which those are called our EBD programs. And these programs vary by income, age, and disability status. EBD Medicaid, that's medical coverage for elders, disabled with limited income. We have a Medicare savings program which helps pay for your Medicare premiums. There's also SSI-related Medicaid. Those are automatic when you receive SSI benefits. We have family care, which is the ADRC, which is the Aging Disability Resource Center. IRIS, that includes long-term care options, for independents. And then one of the importance that we want to let you know is that this is designed to protect our most vulnerable members, right? So these are those that are receiving long-term care, our seniors, our elders, and especially those that are disabled. And Oneida, us IM specialists, are there to help navigate. It is very complex. The rules are just crazy, so no one case is the same. Everybody's case is different. So if you hear that your best friend may get more or get less than you, just remember that each case is completely unique and tailored to that person. And also, I just want to point out that if you have any questions when you receive your letters and you're like, I do not understand these, give us a call and we're there to help you. So that moves on to our next slide, the roles of the income maintenance specialist. We're there to help you with processing your applications, your renewals, and changes. We're there to help you and let you know what we need to collect to verify in order to get you eligible for these services. Also, we're there to conduct food share interviews. If you apply online, usually you'll receive a letter or an email stating that you must interview. So usually that's with us, me and Simone, or Barb in the future. And we're there to explain eligibility and benefits as well. And there's ways to apply. You can apply through the Access website, and that is access.wisconsin.gov. There's also an app that's free that you can download on your phone, and if you're very tech savvy, that helps out tremendously. If we're needing documents, you can take a little snapshot of what you need and you can upload it, and we get it within minutes. Whereas opposed to if you do paper application, you receive a letter in the mail, then you gotta wait and do this whole process. Whatever fits your needs, it's there, and we're there to help you with that. You can come and grab an application at our office. We are located at 2640 West Point Road. We're at door number 5. You can mail it to us. We have a fax number, and you can even call our office to do an intake. And just to let you know that all of these, when you apply, require a valid state or tribal ID. Okay, and last thing I want to note is that all of our members and all of our, not members, but all of our team are tribal members and community partners who understand the cultural values and what it's like to cross-cultural, like communicate with each other. So you get that on hand, where if you think that we don't understand what it's like to be Indigenous, to struggle, or all the things that are going on, especially the intergenerational trauma, we are there, we understand, so we can definitely connect with you. And then moving on to the application checklist. So you apply, you're like, all right, I'm interested. These are the checklists that the state has for you. And so you want to bring these items when applying for Badger Care, Medicaid, and food share. And that's social security numbers for everyone applying. Proof of identity, as I stated, a tribal ID or a state ID. Proof of income, that's like pay stubs, tax returns, unemployment, or even if you're self-employed, we would need some type of information such as tax returns. Information about your health care insurance, if you have any. Proof of housing, that's rent, mortgage, utilities. Those actually really help you out, especially when you're applying for food share. Those are to your benefit. I think there's misinformation that it actually negatively affects your food share, but actually it's the opposite. It positively affects, because it'll say, all right, you're getting an X amount of money, and I'm paying, like maybe 75% of the income that I have is towards rent and towards utilities, and the state will see that and they'll try to adjust accordingly to give you the most that they can out of food share. Proof of child care expenses if you're applying for child care assistance, and proof of medical costs if you're applying for EBD. And so with that, we'll go on to the processing times, and I think this has been an issue when it comes to applying to these, there are state guidelines and timelines. So with that, food share applications must be processed within 30 days. So if you apply at the beginning of the month, and depending on how many applications we have 30 days to process that application. We also have emergency priority cases. These are for individuals that are earning income, whether it's earned or unearned income, monthly of $150 or less. And it takes about 7 days to process that priority application. Another one is for Badger Care Plus and Medicaid applications. These also have to be processed within a 30-day time frame once we receive that, and that goes by date and time order stamped when we receive those applications. And this, the difference between Badger Care and Medicaid is that the EBT Medicaid applications can take up to about 45 days to process those. So it's always good to keep those in mind of the timeline of processing those applications when you send those in. I know we want something that's like instant and right away, but there's really only 4 of us, so we really have to kind of take everything in, and usually those applications are pretty lengthy to kind of go through. So we try to process those within less than 30 days for some of us. Some take 30 days depending on how large our caseload is. And this will go to Simone.
All right, so I'll go over the deadline and due dates. Verification documents, examples would be like pay stubs or IDs, like state IDs or tribal. Those are usually due within 10 days of request. Reviews or renewals, those must be completed every 12 months. Access Access does send out notices ahead of time. That way you can get your renewal done timely. Changing reports, all changes must be reported or verified within 10 days. So like income changes, households, change of address, missed deadlines. If any documents aren't turned in by the due date, the case may be denied or benefits could end. If it's late but turned in within the 30 days of closure, benefits may be reopened without a new application. However, if there's any documents that are provided after the 30 days, you'll have to reapply with a new application and restart the entire process all over again. For the food share 6-month reporting form, you'll receive a notification 45 days prior to the deadline. If you miss that deadline, you can still provide your information within the 7th month, which then your food share will be prorated from the date that your SMRF was received. Also keep in mind, sending in documents sporadically, those will still pend your case until all verification documents are met. If not, it will close, your case will close, and you may have to reapply. Adverse action and timely notice is what I'll go over next. What is adverse action? It's another name for cutoff in the CARES system. A batch process runs 13 calendar days before the end of the month. This allows time for negative notices, like benefit reduction, denial, or closure to be sent. Next, I'll go over timely notice requirements. A 10-day notice must be provided before any reduction, denial, or closure of benefits. Ensures the household that have time to respond or provide any missing verification. Some expectations may apply. An example would be fraud determinations, voluntary withdrawal. And also why it matters. Most importantly, it protects clients by guaranteeing that they have an advance warning before the loss of benefits. It gives families time to appeal, fix verification, or update any changes, and reinforces transparency in the benefit process. Also, most importantly, please make sure to read notices. These notices are auto-generated. If it ever gets confusing, please call us. We can most definitely go over and explain, because sometimes the notices do get confusing. Also, please allow 2 business days for a return call. And then the adverse action timeline, 13 days before the end of the month. CARES runs adverse action, and then 10 days before the new month, notices are sent about the benefit reduction and closure. Also, first of the month, that's when the changes take effect. Also, important things to remember, having a checklist ready, that helps speed up the processing time. Processing time, clients should expect 30 to 45 days maximum waiting for approval. Verification requests, always act fast when you get them. There's 10 days standard, a standard timeline. Don't wait to apply. If you don't have every document, that's okay. Just don't wait to apply. Also, fairness and order applications, renewals, and SMRFs are processed in the order that they are received, date and time stamped. And then also, if you need to submit your application, we have online applications. Those are through the wisconsin.gov website. The link is provided in the slides, the PowerPoint. Also, submitting documents for eligibility, we do have a general economic support email that is checked daily throughout the day. Also, you can send them in by fax. The number is 920-490-6308. Also,
6803.
oh, 6803, sorry. 6803, okay. Also, you can mail it in too, to the economic support. The P.O. Box is 365 Oneida, Wisconsin, 54155. Also, you can come in person. We're at 2640 West Point Road in Green Bay, door number 5. And you can use the drop after hour submissions too as well. Those are secure. Also, our office hours are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And then also, program information and applications are available at the oneidanation.gov website. And then you can also pick up applications too. If I did not state that before, there is applications next to the drop box too as well. And then also you follow us on Oneida Economic Support on Facebook.
Wow, that's a lot of information. Thank you for the clarification. It's really important that people understand your process and the time it takes. I mean, I go in and you're right, everybody wants to type it in and I get an answer. That doesn't happen. There's a lot of work that has to be done. And to read your application. I know it's so easy to skim through something and not check your work. We get a lot of people calling back because their GWA application hasn't gone through properly, but they haven't checked or they haven't, updated it or what have you. So the clarification is really, really important for you. Are all of your services for enrolled Oneida on the reservation, or is it around the area? What about if I live in Appleton?
Our service delivery area for our agency is any enrolled Native American that resides in Brown or Outagamie County.
Okay, so it's county-based. So if I live in Milwaukee, I don't qualify. I'd have to go to an agency there.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
I want to mention too that if you live here and then you end up moving, you do have to switch counties. So if you're still up here and you're like, all right, I moved and you didn't tell us, and we get notifications like this person no longer lives here, then we end up having to switch counties. So you must stay within the Brown and
Okay.
Outagamie County.
Or notify you and you'll help them
Yeah.
transition to the
Yes.
next county.
Correct.
All right. So is everything that you provide, is that all income-based?
Majority.
Yeah, majority of that is income-based, yeah.
Everything is.
If you happen to lose your job or you are unfortunately homeless, and there is verification of that, or you were recently incarcerated and released, we have those, we can do that. The state does run what is called an FDSH, which is like a federal wage search. And what that does is it pulls up your social security number and sees any of the past jobs that you have previously worked with in the last, 5 to 10 years. And so it'll pull it up. So it runs a lot of things on there. So
So people just coming out of incarceration, there's some services that you can assist with as well? If you said
Yes.
housing, jobs,
We don't do housing, however, we are, for us specific, we are specifically just for food share and for healthcare. So we can assist with like giving them some,
some vouchers?
actually it's a food share card, it's a Quest card. So they'll be eligible potentially for a priority, and you'll get you can either wait. So the process is you can either wait and receive your card in the mail, which is 7 to 10 business days, or you can get a Vault card, which is an immediate card, but it's only good for 30 days, and after that, that's it. So you
Okay.
got, within that 30 days, when you have this little emergency card, you will receive in the mail your actual card. So I always try to tell like my clients or anybody that comes in, write a big T somewhere on there so you know that's a temporary card, so you don't get those mixed up. But yes, and if you don't receive your card within that time frame, come to us and let us know immediately, so that way we can try to figure out and issue you a new card. So
So Dagenha, that's
So John, again,
that's the Oneida term for
help yourself.
help yourself. All
Yes.
That
right.
was given to us by Priscilla Manders
Oh, really?
many
Budgie.
years ago. Budgie.
That's a long, long time ago. Well, I like
And I
that.
just wanted to let people know that it's not actually the worker that will shut their case down. You know, if your case is pending because you didn't verify something, after 10 days, that state system sends an alert to the worker. This case needs to be closed. They didn't verify their information. And that's why people's cases get shut down most often, because of something not being brought in that was needed.
Again, read
Read
everything.
your
Read,
read,
Make sure you
yes,
have somebody
read.
check your work if you
yes,
have to.
and I want to touch base back on that sporadic. If you get a letter and it says like we need, like let's say 5 things, 2 things, or even just, the signature page is also a huge requirement. Sometimes we'll get applications back without signature pages. I can't move forward with that. So make sure you sign everything. Fill it out. When in doubt, just say, hey, can we talk about it? And then we can answer any questions that you have. It's just, if you're sending in sporadic documents, we're not going to continue with your case. It's still going to pend until we get everything. So if it's 2 documents and you send in one and it's like, all right, we're nearing the end and I don't receive it, the state's telling me you got to close your case. So I have no other choice but to kind of run through the process and close it and say that it was unfulfilled, that you didn't meet all the requirements. And then what that means is, when we say you have to reapply and do it all over again. That's the application process. That's sending in all those
That's
documents.
very frustrating.
It is very frustrating, because it's like, I understand that frustration, and if there's something where you can't get it and a worker's not, your past worker's not able to like communicate, we'll try to do something to help you with that. But we like to, one of our missions is to help you be self-sufficient, so you can go out and you can do that and you can feel good about what you're doing and you taking control of your case and you being able to do this. And I always try to remind my clients, I'm only as good as what you're giving me. So if I'm not receiving all the things, I can't really push forward any of the things that you need in your case. So it's like working together. So if I'm asking for something, gotta give it to me, and then I can give it to the state. Think of us like your representatives, right? So we're asking for these things, not to be nosy. If you have 5 jobs, you have 5 jobs. That's okay. Let's put it in there and see what you can get for healthcare, see what you can get for food share. That's all required by the state. Okay?
Help them do their job.
Yes, please.
And they can help you.
Yes.
I understand that. I just filled out an application for a class that took me a half hour, and for me, that's a lot of time to spend on an application. But
those applications
and
are
it is
lengthy.
frustrating. What about a signature, an electronic signature? Is there something on your applications where you can accept an electronic signature?
Yes, we can accept. So if you go through the Access website, you can do that electronically. And we are getting set up for phone telephonic signatures through a system with a state called Genesis. And so that's when you'll see not a 920 number, you'll see a 608 number. And typically we'll set that up with you with an appointment ahead of time. And once you see that and you see the time frame of when we're supposed to call, you'll see a 608 number. and then we'll do a little spiel. Hey, this is being recorded. Do you accept this? And then we'll move forward, and then that will be like your electronic signature. So if you don't have a means to get to the place, that's another way to help out those that
All
maybe don't have the luxury of having a vehicle.
Wow, technology.
Exactly.
It's ahead of the game. All right, I have a few announcements here that the General Tribal Council meeting's coming up. If you want to mark your calendar, get your pencil out, grab your calendar, get ready. The next General Tribal Council meeting is September 14th. That's on a Sunday, and the meeting will begin at 10 a.m. And this meeting is to address the vacancy of the Vice Chairman on the Business Committee Council. So that's the only thing that will be on this agenda. Nothing else can be added at this time. The next meeting after that is December 8th, and that's the budget meeting. And that is a Monday, 6 p.m. meeting. So mark those on your calendar, September 14th and December 8th. And both of those are stipend meetings for the General Tribal Council. This Thursday, the Oneida Farmers Market has their bash, and there's going to also be a car show, and that's sponsored by Resurrected Rides. So that's going to be awesome. They will start at noon as usual, and there'll be music, games, a lot of food, and a lot of fun. Sympathy goes out to one of their presenters that was often there, the Snake Man. He's passed away, so sending your prayers and good thoughts to him and his family. Unfortunately, he won't be there. He just passed away on Monday. And finally, this came in the mail early July, June, and it's the GWA application. It's a light green form. You have 17 days to sign up for your GWA payment if you haven't already put your application in. It is due by September 5th at 4:30 Central Standard Time. If you get it in after September 5th at 4:30, it won't be processed until the second payment, which comes out in March 2026. If you are 18 and above, you will receive $1,500 for filling out that application. And as we said, read the entire application. Make sure you put it in correctly. If you are 62 and older, you will receive an additional $2,000. So up to 62, you will have a total of $3,500. And if you are 65 and older, you will receive an additional $703.54. Your total payment for those who are 65 and older will be $4,203.54. And those extra payments are in accordance with the actions taken by the General Tribal Council. So, is there anything we forgot that you ladies would like to add?
No, not that I'm aware
No.
of. But just call us if you have any questions when you receive those letters. But again, we're going to say it. Please read your emails and read your letters. Pay attention to the due dates. If you have any questions and you're like, what does this mean? Give us a call and we will go down those letters with you and break it down for you.
And what's that number?
Our number is
920-490-6800.
490-6800. Write that. Say it. 490-6800. Don't forget that's their main number.
I also wanted to mention that the health center, when anybody walks in the doors there for service and they don't have insurance, they have a medical benefits coordinator staff that help them to fill out the healthcare application that we process. And then they email those applications to us, and they get assigned to the staff to process. Often, those applications don't have the things that they need. They don't have a tribal ID, not always,
No.
sometimes. They don't have any income, like the last 30 days of pay stubs. So then we get those applications, we just process them. That's the state's policy. You just process them. You don't have to make an appointment for that person to come in. So when we get those and we process them, if something is needed, a letter is going to go out to that person saying, hey, you still need to provide this. And that happens too much where people aren't reading those letters. They aren't even watching for those letters. And then after 30 days, that application drops out of the system and they'd have to start it all over again.
That's a good thing to remember. If you don't follow up, if you don't read your mail, if you don't look at your emails, the state will drop it out of the system. So don't call up Barb, don't call up Dakota, and don't call up Simone and say, what did you
Jess,
do?
Tina.
It's what you didn't do. So,
Correct.
all right, thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Sound
Thank
very
you.
good.
Thank you.
Remember, everybody, we will see you Thursday, and we'll have Oneida Recreation here on Thursday. Y'all want to go?
Yes.
Yo.
No,
Yun yung